What happens when your personal and professional aspirations appear to be at odds with one another? I've been thinking about this a lot after taking a month off social media and noticing the impacts on me as a person, but also me as an entrepreneur, because they're not the same. And today I wanted to talk about what changed and what I noticed, but also what this means for me and what I'm planning to do next. Now, when let's start with what first changed. And I shared recently on an episode that I called five red flags, meant something had to change. I noticed a connection between my social media use and also concerning patterns. Like I was feeling irrationally impatient. I felt really restless. I also had kind of just really low mood dips after I was using these platforms. So as a reset, I stepped away from Instagram, LinkedIn, and Threads. For YouTube, which I classify it differently from the others, but I did still shift how I used it. So aside from making and posting this podcast, I chose to only open it when I knew exactly what video I wanted to watch or was planning to watch and just limited overall time. So instead of just saying, I feel like doing something, open and scan, it was very, very intentional. Now, the results after a month were a definite improvement. I am noticeably calmer. I am more patient than I was before. I just feel a more steady contentment compared to in the winter when I really noticed this happening. I have also been reading a lot more nonfiction, which is a shift. And to me, that's actually a good sign. I used to read a lot of nonfiction, but the past couple of years, I mean, they've been hard years, but I could barely finish a nonfiction book. And I just leaned almost entirely on novels instead. Now, another observation is that when somebody says to me, "Oh, did you see this, controversy, debate, or disagreement online?" or people are all talking about this, I notice that I feel a wave of relief that I just didn't see it or didn't get pulled into it. Is it just doesn't seem like the kind of energy I want. Now, personally, I am feeling much better off of the platforms, even in spite of, I do miss seeing some posts from family members who are active on there and some friends who are. But professionally, I know that it is a drawback to stop sharing content there. I care about my work and the message that I'm sharing. And I genuinely believe there are people who have never heard of me, never come across me before, that would benefit from the perspective I'm sharing and helping them understand why they're struggling to follow through on things that matter. Now, one of the core ideas from my framework is that momentum happens when you have a sustainable system and you take consistent and aligned action. Now, when you are out of alignment, things start to fall apart. And alignment is the combination of your mindset, what you think and what you believe, but also your mode, how you are wired, and ultimately how you like to work. Professionally, I want to reach more people, which means right now I have a choice to make. So, how do I balance my professional goals in a way that feel aligned? How do I protect my well-being, the human behind the business? I mean, these are important questions. And if I'm being honest, I do not have all of the answers yet. But there is one decision that I have made and feel confident about, and that is that I don't want to have a business that depends on social media. I am comfortable with running a business that is more based on relationships, outreach, referrals. Now, it still takes a lot of effort and hard work. But with this case and that setup, I wouldn't be worrying about, say, missing a mortgage payment because the algorithm changed and suddenly no one's seeing anything. Or I won't panic about not being able to post for a while when life becomes unpredictable and I am needed elsewhere and can't be posting regularly. So, by making this deliberate choice, it means that if I post content on social platforms, it's because I choose to and not because I have to. And to me, this matters because it shifts how I think about sharing content. It also goes from being an I have to more of an I want to or I get to. And one is an obligation where the other kind of feels more like freedom to me. Ultimately, it's a mindset shift, and that's possible because I'm making this choice, this intentional choice, not to rely on social media and connect that to how my business is doing. So it's a mindset shift that I believe supports being in alignment. And I can feel that it's aligned because I actually notice a shift. When I say it, when I speak about the decision, I notice it inside of me. I feel calmer, my shoulders kind of drop, and it's an actual physical shift that I can feel. Now, what's next? So, as I said, I still do not have all the answers. I still have more questions, and I'm spending a lot of time just thinking about my, I guess, perspective and opinion on social media platforms. And if you're familiar with me, you know I think a lot about attention and how we spend our time. So I do have concerns over the platforms. But an experiment that I am going to try over the coming weeks is actually something that was suggested to me by a trusted friend. So, this is someone who has a real mind for social media, also has a very different perspective and mindset around social media than I do. And also, she knows that I love a good experiment and proposed an idea that we work together on my short form content. Now, we haven't started yet, but some of the seeds of the idea that she's planted really excite me. And not just because it's collaborative and I love to work with other people. Being a solo business owner means that I'm often just isolated and working on my own. But I also love that it's a true experiment. We're going in with a really open mind and just seeing what happens. It's not something that I'm making a commitment forever. It's a test. And it is a way to test the balance between my personal goals and well being, but also my professional goals. And ultimately, we can see, is this a viable option that helps me to reach more people with my message, but do it in a way that is sustainable, consistent, and aligned?